Good morning, everyone. We're also live streaming at DepEd Region 5 Bicol Facebook page. To start today's session, may we have our presenters from Union Bank. Go ahead, guys.
Magandang araw and happy Friday to our dear teachers from all over the Philippines. And together with our partners from Thames International, City Savings Bank, Union Bank of the Philippines Accelerators, Ed Rescue, and ACAD Asia, we welcome you to our learning session on measuring learning outcomes. My name is Efren Dancel. I'm with the Small and Medium Enterprise Group of Union Bank of the Philippines. My job is to engage SME communities and their ecosystems, discover their problems and solutions. But for now, for today, I will be your speaker on measuring summative assessment. Just to share a brief about myself, background about myself. Last 2018, I had the privilege to teach public school teachers. No, at that time it was face-to-face. No, on the use of different Microsoft tools through the Microsoft Education Ambassador Program. Today, I'm blessed to have another opportunity to use and apply my knowledge, understandings, and skills to you, dear teachers. At this time, with a bigger audience, because we have participants from all over the Philippines. No, I believe we're live streaming also with the region. Shout out to Region 5, DepEd Bicol. Uh, and joining me today are my colleagues from other business units of Union Bank. Allow me to introduce them to you so that they can say hi and welcome you to this learning session. We have Ms. Arlene Arcilia from Human Resource Department.
Good morning, teachers. Welcome to our session for today.
Thank you, Arlene. And we also have Mr. Neil Bungkayo from the Enterprise Risk Management.
Good morning, teachers. Hope you enjoy the session today.
All right, and Mr. Leo, there you go. Now you can see the face of Mr. Neil, no? And then Mr. Leo Gisik from our Retail Banking Center. Mr. Leo?
Good morning, teachers. Shout out to my kababayan in Region 5. Maraming salamat sa endo, mga guwapo and magagayo na teachers.
Wow. Thank you very much, Leo. I hope you can also share your, turn on your video. And, okay, so we will be with you, no? Until tomorrow, Saturday, no? It's a weekend, but we will join you tomorrow to discuss about the continuation of the measuring learning outcomes. No? The last session was all about measuring formative assessment. As much as you did last time, we hope that you'll enjoy our session today as we give you some tips on how to measure learning outcomes under the new normal. No? I believe it's a blended learning. No? Okay, just a few reminders. I think you've seen this a while ago before the start, so please change. No, ensure your audio is turned off. But we encourage you to share your comments and questions about the topic in the chat box. Miss Arlene will help us, no, in the chat box, so to engage you. In the interest of time, we will entertain questions during our Q&A sessions. And please also check your message, settings. You can see it in the chat box. Please ensure that your message is set to visible to all panelists, and attendees, so that everyone can see your comments. And this is also one way for you to interact with your co-attendees and the panelists. Okay, let's move to move forward. These are the topics under measuring learning outcomes. Number one, we discussed this last Wednesday, measuring formative assessment. And then number two, measuring summative assessment. Number three is how to avoid cheating. Very interesting topic, which will be discussed tomorrow. Can we move? Okay. So last Wednesday, we discussed about measuring formative assessment. And we did some exercise with Miss Arlene, no? And you've done pre and post assessments. No? That's why you can see in the progress bar, you've already in the green light. Now you have one green bar already. No? Okay, so let's check if you were able to recall what you've learned in the measuring formative assessments. So can you please using your gadget, can you please access menti.com? The code is, enter the code in your screen, 241-7677. I repeat, it's 241-7677. 241-7677. And answer the question provided. We'll give you 1 minute to key in your answers. My teammate Arlene, no, she's already ready to assist you with the time, and of course, no, the link, no, she will also share the link. So just in 1 to 4 words, provide an example of a formative assessment. So in 1 to 4 words, provide an example of a formative assessment. We're now seeing online quiz, summative test, short quiz, evaluate, exciting. Hmm.
30 seconds to go.
Okay. In example of a formative assessment in menti.com. This is a warm-up exercise also. A mental calisthenics.
Time's up.
Time's up. Thank you very much, Arlene. So continue putting in the examples. But the common here would be short quizzes, online quiz, no? Same quiz. That's a formative assessment. And then, okay, multiple choice. All right. So teacher Arlene, can we ask you, are this the right examples for formative assessment? Teacher Arlene.
Yes.
All
Yes, Sir
right, thank you very
Watson.
much. Okay, moving on. Medyo excited pa, no? They keep on coming. All right, so the next question in menti.com is, what are your expectations, no, for this session? Measuring summative assessment. Meron na kagad. What's the latest assessment? Okay, what's latest, no? Sige. Assessment tests. Interesting. Okay. Probably what's the latest? We'll give you some tools, no, on what's the latest under the new normal. How can you adapt them? Assess test summative assessment. Fun. How to make it fun? Okay, later Leo will show you how to make it fun. Interesting. Okay. New ideas in the new normal. ASA on assessment.
30 more seconds to go.
Keep on coming. What are your expectations? Man, creative way. Productive technique.
Time's up.
All right, thank you very much, teachers. I think the focal point here is creative ways under the new normal, no? Okay. What else? There keep on coming. Productive, fun, informative, no? Interesting ideas. All right. Thank you very much, teachers. So, Mr. Neil, can we move forward? Okay. Thank you very much, teachers, again, for participating in the menti.com. You can use that platform, digital platform, to engage your students before your sessions or class or lesson. So are you ready for the summative assessment? Can you put it in the chat box if you're ready? Teachers, are you ready? Right. So to manage your expectations, our objective, no, to level off with your expectations. At the end of the session, we hope that you'll understand the summative assessment. I think this is just a review. No, you know this already, but it's we'll review it for you, and we'll try to come up with creative ways, no, on how we can do it during this under the new norm. And second is how you assess, no, students in the classroom. Again, you know this already, but how do we measure it, no, during this no face-to-face interaction? And then number three, we'll classify components of summative assessments and give you exercises along the way. Okay, so these are the objectives that we intend to achieve at the end of our session. And then what's in store for you? Again, you look at the progress bar. If you finish this measuring summative assessment, you'll gain 2 bars already. So we'll start first with a session on achieving those objectives, and then we'll do some exercises, especially in the component part. And then, of course, your favorite, no? We'll try to have a long test, 100 items. No, I'm just kidding. We'll just do some long tests and then help you also to experience it, how students will experience it in this under the new norm. All right. So summative assessment. So what is summative assessment? It measures, no, the different ways your students use and apply their knowledge, all relevant knowledge, understandings, and skills. No, they can also demonstrate, no, the content, knowledge, and their competencies. No, sometimes your students can also synthesize, no, all this knowledge, understandings, and skills. That's the summative assessment, measuring in a different way your students' application of knowledge. No, of course, I know that teachers are very good in planning, no? So I think that's a reminder that we need to uh, space properly over the quarter, no? How you give this summative assessments, no? And all these assessments, if you sum it up, no, it will be the basis for computing the grades for your students, no? So the best way to show this, no, I try to come up with my own graphical representation of what is summative assessment in the next chart. Yan. So, of course, you're talking about quarter. So if you start the school year on October 5, this is just an example. You can have the November 5, you can do WW, meaning to say written work. And then on December, you can start with the performance task, the PT. And then, of course, on January, you can do already the quarterly exam or QA, quarterly assessment. No? So all these components, the 3 components, the WW, PT, QA, will be the graces, no, for computing the grades of your students. No? And the summative assessment, again, measures the learners or students on how they use and apply relevant knowledge, understandings, and skills. So this is another way I can share with you how do we define summative assessment. Moving forward. Okay. To achieve our second objective on how your students, no, are being assessed in the classroom, of course, we're talking about summative assessment. We can do it individually or collaboratively. No? Your students may be assessed individually through unit tests or quarterly exams, no? I've known of one schools right now, they conduct long tests, no, after 3 lessons, no, online, no. After the 3 lessons, they conduct the long test, no, or probably you call it a unit test, no. And collaboratively, your students may participate in group activities in which they cooperate to produce results, no, of their learning. So the keyword there is really to cooperate, no, in that activity. And what's important is the process, no, of creating a learning project. Not more on the result of it, but more on the process of learning the project, no. So Neil, uh, yan. So that's the summary of what I've discussed. Again, individual, you can do long tests, no, after 3 lessons. Long test probably can do up to 50 items. No? Quarterly exams, 100 items for an hour online. No? And then for collaborative, the keyword here is cooperate. And then the process of creating a learning project. Okay, Mr. Neil. Okay, summative assessments are classified into 3 components. I think I mentioned this in the framework a while ago. What is summative assessment? Just to recall, written work or WW, performance tasks or PT, quarterly assessments or QA. No? So these 3 will be the basis for your grading. I know that you're doing it already, but later on I will show you each of the components on how you can apply online, no? Online tools. No? The nature of learning area defines the way these 3 components are assessed. Okay, let's start off, Neil, with first written work. No? So it ensures your students are able to express their skills and concepts in the written form. And it includes long quizzes, mentioned a while ago, long tests, long quizzes, no, that helps strengthen the test-taking skills, no, among the students, no. So I mentioned a while ago that after 3 lessons, some schools conduct long tests online, and then probably they can, so that students can prepare themselves for the quarterly exams, no. But what is important here is that it's highly recommended that in the long test, uh, there's this cognitive process dimensions that we need to apply so that you can check the level of where the students stand, no, based on the standard, no. So what we're showing you here is just what are these cognitive dimensions, no. So we can probably come up with an acronym. Are you AEC? Are you AEC? Meaning to say remembering, U understanding, A applying, A analyzing, and E evaluating, and C creating. So the first level of cognitive starts with remembering. Uh, Probably how can we apply this with our formative assessment lesson last time is how you recall, no? Recall measuring formative assessment, no? And then you try to give examples, no, formative assessment, no, like what we did in the menti.com, no, a while ago. You shared online quiz, no, all quizzes, no. So these are examples of formative assessment, but we are still in the second stage of cognitive, no. And then you apply, you know, what teacher Arlene, no, mentioned about the Kahoot, no, so that you can use this Kahoot games before the lesson, no. You apply the tools, and of course you try to distinguish formative assessment objectives before, during, and after the lesson, no. So teacher Arlene, no, mentioned about what there are different kinds of objectives before, during, and after, no. And then you judge, no, which of the tools, no, best suit for under the normal, new normal, the blended learning. What would be the best online tools, no, practical, no. So teacher Arlene, how many tools have we shared to our teachers last time? Can you share some of this? again?
Yes, yeah. We shared 7 tools which we can use for online formative assessments during our session last time. So examples of this, tama yung mga sagot ng teachers natin kanina, no? We have online quizzes. We can also conduct open-ended and essay type questions, game type activities, even experiments and activities can be done through formative assessment. And we can also do online polls. So those are some samples of the formative assessments we discussed last time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Teacher Arlene. No,
Mm.
probably you can also share that in the chat box para they can recall. No, so but you'll be the judge. No, what is practical. No, we're just sharing with you what we've experienced. No, what's practical also. No, but of course it depends also on your situation and the situation of the students. No, and then the higher cognitive dimension will be creating, no, how they generate hypothesis on measuring formative assessments. That's why all this theories and then tools, no, will depend on your situation. Come up with an argument, no, if it's really applicable or practical in your situation. No? So to give you an exercise, ayan, to give you an exercise on measuring learning outcomes. So we'll come up with an essay. No, this is part of the written work. No, so this is one way of applying. Also, I'll turn you over the floor to Mr. Leo Guisik to explain more about the essay mechanics.
Good morning, teachers. Our first activity is an essay. So this is an example of the written work as discussed by Sir Boggs. So shown in the slides is the QR code and the link. Miss Arlene will also post the link in the chat box. So we'll give you 2 minutes to access the form and answer it. Timer starts now. Participating in our first activity. We'll read one answer from you. So, Miss Arlene.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Sir Leo. So thank you so much for all your responses. I can still see right now that there are still responses coming in. But let's take a look at some of the responses here. So for question number one, when do you use a formative assessment? So looking at it, most of the answers here are after each lesson is done, after every lesson, after the lesson is specifically executed. There are also responses about to know the student knowledge in the lesson. So thank you so much for that one. For our second question, when do you use a summative assessment? So the answers that I'm seeing here right now, after one unit has been done, it could be weekly or after 2 weeks. It depends on the topic. So yeah, I think everyone is getting a good grasp of our formative and summative assessments. Thank you so much for participating in that activity. We'll be having more activities later, but for now, I'll give the floor back to Sir Efren for the continuation of our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Arlene. Uh, Thank you very much also for sharing, no, and participating, no. So that you'll know also what it's like to be a student, no, answering this online forms. Okay, moving forward, Ms. Neil, the second component of summative assessment is the performance task. Well, this allows your students to show what they know and are able to do it in a diverse ways. No, they may create or innovate products or do performance-based tests or tasks like skills demonstration, group presentation, like what we're doing right now. No, oral work, multimedia presentations, and research project. You know what? Kids or students nowadays, no, they are really into this video thing, no, the TikTok and the YouTube, no, they call some call themselves the vloggers, no. So I think the multimedia right now, no, they can really make use of it, no. These are free, no, that you can creatively also kumbaga, join them in this, no, and then understand, no. Okay. It's important also to note that written output may also be considered as a performance task. So to give you and to, of course, give you a creative way on how you do it in under the new norm, I'll turn you over to our guru, Mr. Leo.
So, good morning. So, our second activity is an example of performance task. So, what do we do? So, we'll take a video of yourself doing squats. So, you upload the video. It can be 10 megabyte max or a low of 360 pixels. Attach the file via email and send it to efrendancel@yahoo.com. Or you can also share it via groups in your MS Teams. So what is squat? Basically, it warms up your glutes, hamstrings, quads, and quads. Start with your arms in front of you and sink down into a squat. Rise back up and pause briefly before repeating the move for 30 seconds. So, thank you, Sir Bogs.
Very much, Leo. You can also this one we're sharing this uh, PE, no, dynamic stretch, no, PE activity, no. This one is been doing. Some of the schools right now are doing PE, no, using also online by taking video of the students, no, how they do it, no. So you give the instruction, and then they take their videos, no, and then they upload it and then shared it to the teachers, no. Well, some schools they have platforms. uh, I think Leo mentioned a while ago about the the MS Teams. No, if you have the MS Teams platform, you can use that also to upload it. So you have email, you also have the platform, and the third one probably pinaka mabilis, no, is if you have a Viber group, you can also use that. But I don't know the security, no. But that's very accessible nowadays, no. The Viber, no. Okay. So moving forward, Okay. So another activity. This one is another activity. Mr. Leo.
So, good morning. Our next activity is rating our group presentation. So, basically, shown in the slide is the QR code and the link. Miss Arlene also put the link in our chat box, and we'll give you 1 minute to answer the said uh, form. Thank you.
So just to reinforce what Leo mentioned, no, this activity will also help you, no, in assessing your students when they present, no, as a group, no. So this time you'll be the one to assess us, no. While we do the group presentation, you assess us based on the checklist that is given under the form.
So 1 more minute.
Thank you.
Time's up.
Thank you very much, Arlene. Mr. Neil, can you show the results?
Uh, Here's the result of the editor's checklist. So majority answered specific requests for action or information, content information, right amount of detail, accurate and complete. Majority respond sequence bottom line to be strategically placed, organization ideas flow logically, enough headlines, sidelines, and lists for design format. Presentation, would the chart table graph be more effective for certain information? For the seventh one, structure of paragraphs, begin with the topic sentence. Structure of sentences, valid in structure and length. For the style, tone of words, simple, specific, and straightforward. Proofreading, grammar, spelling, and punctuation is accurate. So yeah, so you can see from the questions, you have responses, 37 responses, and later on we'll be discussing how you can create and improve your online forms and quizzes.
Thank you very much, Neil. So that's how the Microsoft Forms work, no? You'll get responses immediately. No? So, right. So moving on. to our next component. You can skip that. All right. So the last component, the first was written work. The second was performance tasks. And now the third is the quarterly assessment. No, it measures your students' learning at the end of the quarter. So remember the chart I've shown you. So at the end of the quarter, the QA, sometime January probably, this may be in the form of objective tests or a performance-based assessment. No, the example here, kanina while ago would be yung guro natin si Leo, no, yung PE natin, no, performance-based, no, or a group presentation, no, like what we're doing right now. It's a group presentation, no, or a combination of both, no. This synthesizes all. Of course, only once at the end of the quarter. You only give a quarter exams once, no? Right? So let's move on. All right, thank you very much. We're done already with our session on the our objectives. I mean, no, the first, understanding the summative assessment. The second one, what are the how do you assess, no, your students in the classroom individually and collaboratively, and then what are the components, the three components that we mentioned, the written work, the performance test, and then the quarterly assessments, no, and we did exercises under the new norm. What are the things that you can apply under the new norm? Of course, we would like you to experience also how students, no, will experience it, no, on in the online exam, no. So we will have a long test. It's not 100 items, but it's just 10 items. This is just a assessment of the formative and the summative assessments. Okay, I'll give the floor now to Mr. Leo.
So good morning. So as discussed by Sir Bogs, our next activity is a long test. Shown in the slide is the QR code and the link. You can also find the link in our chat box. So for this activity, we will give you 5 minutes to answer and access the form. Thank you.
up.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Neil. Can you process the responses?
Sure, sir. I'll be sharing the results. So, so can you see my screen already? Majority. The good thing about forms is Microsoft Forms is you will be able to create quizzes, and from that you can already see the responses and immediately see the results. So thank you for the 73 responses. Here you can immediately see the results of the percentage of how many of your students got the questions correctly. And you will have the overview on what questions they had difficulty on answering, and then what areas to be improved. So here, yeah. Later on, Sir Leo will be discussing on how can you customize and improve and control how you can implement quizzes, online quizzes via Microsoft Forms. Thank you, Sir Leo.
Thank you, Neil. So I'll be discussing to you how to do forms or quiz and also the Menti. Sir Neil. So for the forms, first is you need to access the forms.office.com. Then you can sign in using your email, mobile number, or your Skype account. Once you log in, you can choose whether it's form or quiz. So what's the difference of form or quiz? Basically for quiz, you can input the answers and the scores. While form, you use it for surveys and stuff like that. So yung next is you can input the title and the description of the form or the quiz. Then you add the question. So you just click the add new button. Questions can be either multiple choice, text, rating, or date. Then you can also click the arrow for more question buttons like ranking, Likert, file upload, or net promoter scores. So once you start you just add new if you want to add more questions. Once you're done with your question, you must start customizing your form by choosing settings. So basically in settings, you can limit the time of the quiz. You can limit based on date, on the time, and you can also shuffle questions, and you can send email notification and send customized thank you message for each response. You can also click preview to see how your form will look like. Then you can also test your form and you can answer it, and you can click submit button. So this is the sample preview of a form in a desktop form. Then the next slide is sample preview in a mobile form. So you can also customize the theme. So the theme will depend on the topic of your quiz or your form. So if it's in science quiz, you can choose the planet or the laboratory theme. Once your form is ready, you can share it via email, Facebook Messenger, or any messenger apps, you just copy the link. You can also generate QR code, just like what we have done in our slides. Then you can also get the link and share it on your blog or on your websites. There's a question, so kindly repeat or send the procedure on how to access the form. So uh, you can ano sir, we Sir Box, can we share the materials?
Yeah, we will share the materials. I think that's coming from Teacher Nelson Taliping Jr. So we will send the materials via the temps, Leah. But in the meantime, in the interest of time, we will proceed with the discussion on the Menti. Are you, okay?
Okay, thank you. So the next is Mentimeter. So this is an interactive live polling. So it is a free live polling tool for engaging audiences of all sizes. So you can use live polls, Q&A, and open responses to help you listen to your audience. So this is what we have done in our previous slides. So how do we do this? So you just access mentimeter.com. Next, Sir Neil. So once you log in, you just click the new presentation. Then you write the title or name of your presentation. Then select a question type. It can be multiple choice, word cloud. So yung kanina, word cloud yon. So open-ended question, scales, ranking. Then you type your question and set a number of entries per participant. So after that, so your presentation is now ready for sharing. So you can share it or copy the link provided or generate a QR code. So that's all. Thank you, Sir Boggs.
Thank you very much, Leo. Arlene also shared to the teachers. You may also go back to the recording of the session via the Heroes 2021. And she shared, Teacher Arlene, or Arlene, no? Our colleague shared also a link, no? So that you can do the Microsoft Forms to guide you on the Microsoft Forms. Okay. In summary, there must be a sufficient and appropriate instructional intervention to ensure that students are ready before the summative assessment. No, I think one of the key learnings here is the previous topic, the formative assessment, wherein there's a continuous feedback with your students, no, and then that formative assessment will help them, no, with their long tests, prepare them for the quarterly exams, no. So these are stages, no, that will help, no. And the results produced through the summative assessment will enable you to describe how well your students learned, the standards, no, that you've set, or the schools, the competencies for a given quarter. And then lastly would be uh, the results will be then reflected in their class record, of course, class record, no, and then the grades are presented in a report to show their progress, of course, no, to their parents, no. So that's the summary of the measuring summative assessment. So we now move on to the, oh, this is a dashboard again, no? So congratulations, you're done with the session. You've done also with the exercises and the long test, no? I've been reading the chat box, no? Ang hirap pala, no? To put your place in the shoes of the students, no? So it really takes a practice, no? You do it, no? And then you immerse yourself, no? That's the key, no? All right, and we're open now the floor to the Q&A. Oh, before that, let's open the floor first to Q&A. So we'll give you 5 minutes. Any All right. So you can share your questions in the chat box. Eileen, do we have questions in the live streaming?
Hi, Sir Efren. So, a question that I'm seeing right now is if we need internet to access all these applications.
Yes, we will be needing internet connection for this online tools, no? The Microsoft Forms, the Mentimeter, what else have we shared? I think yung pinaka ano doon, yung sa exercise, no? The Viber, I don't think you need, I think you just need a data plan for the Viber, no? So para they can video themselves, no? Yun ang pinaka-accessible ngayon, no? Viber, free, no? For some.
There's a question also, Sir Bogs. How do we generate QR code?
A good question. I think
Sir,
teacher
Sir
also
Neil,
was referring.
can you
Flashback the Microsoft Forms.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Here you can you see my screen now? You can
Yep.
yes, sir.
create a QR code here from the form. You will be able to download this QR code and this will immediately go to the link for your students to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Neil.
Cannot see the slide. Okay. Okay. Another last questions probably. How is a written report and performance tasks done in a modular distance learning? Okay. Probably we didn't discuss about the modular distance learning, but what I can share with you, the written report. Uh, the example was given was the essay form using the Microsoft Forms. But in this case, it's modular, no? So they bring in their modules and then they answer it, no? Based on my kids' experience, what they're doing right now is there's an assignment, and based on the assignment, they answer it, no? And once they answer it, we parents, no, we take a picture of it and then we send it to the teachers that they're doing the said assignment, no. So we upload it in a certain platform, Google Classroom. So we upload it there, and then the teacher see it, and then the teacher process it the next day, no. So there's a time given to my kid on how to answer it, on when to answer it, and as parents we take photos, we upload it, and then they discuss it during class. So I hope that helps, no, answering your question. That's really based on the experience that we have with our 8-year-old kid. Okay, any more questions? Okay, so that end our learning session for today. And for next week, we will have another, tomorrow pala, not next week, tomorrow. Another topic, interesting topic is how to avoid online cheating. Oh, wait. Ayan. Next live session, September 26, Saturday, 9 a.m. How to avoid online cheating on online learning. All right. So we're using the same link for all sessions. Okay. We hope you had a good time, and more importantly, we hope that you gain something to apply as you teach in the new normal. On behalf of my teammates, Arlene, Neil, Leo, this is Efren, your speaker for today. Thank you very much for allowing us to impart our knowledge to each one of you. We'll see you again tomorrow, no? September 26th, for the discussion how to avoid online cheating. Have a great day, a safe and meaningful weekend. Maraming salamat at magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.